Hi, welcome. Thank you for taking time to watch the video about the Diverse Teachers Pathway Program here in Parkrose School District. My name is Mary Bradbury Jones, and I am the Director of Human Resources. In this presentation, I am going to share information about the program, the commitments to the program, what the program offers, and how to apply to the program. If you have any questions after watching this video, please feel free to reach out to me via email or give me a call at extension 2112. Okay, I'm going to take a moment here and bring up the presentation. All right, so first I wanted to share a little bit about the vision at Parkrose School District. This is the vision that the board and the superintendent have crafted. That is that Parkrose School District believes that racial, cultural, and ethnic diversity is a strength for our community. We value equity as a top school district commitment. Equity ensures that all students have the opportunity to reach their fullest potential. It closes the achievement gap and supports our district vision, which is that all students read and think critically at high levels, graduating college and career ready. Now, this leads us to the mission of the school district. So the mission of the district is how we're going to make the vision a reality. So the mission of Parkrose School District is to close the achievement gap by preparing all students for college readiness and success in a global society. We believe that it is our moral obligation to empower the Parkrose community by embracing, accepting, and reflecting our diverse cultures, which includes hiring a workforce that is as diverse as the students and the families that live in Parkrose. Finally, we believe that Parkrose School District has the obligation to use its power in order to change society as a whole, beginning with the people that live and work in Parkrose. To that end, we will create, implement strategies and practices, and hold the district accountable for hiring a workforce that is as equally diverse as the students that it serves. So what is the objective of the Diverse Teachers Pathway Program? Very simple, to develop a workforce that is able to effectively serve our diverse student population in the district. So our intent with this program is to support Parkrose students, Parkrose employees, and community partners in becoming teachers by making a significant investment in their education. So who's eligible? Parkrose students, Parkrose current employees, and any Elevate employees who work in Parkrose. Our goal with this program long-term is to be open to additional community partners, but right now in the infancy of its program, it is limited to Elevate employees at this time. So what does supporting a person in the program mean? Well, mainly the support we're going to provide is financial support. So that will be tuition support, including books and fees if available. And I'll come back to that in just a moment. We could provide financial support for folks who need some technology support to get started with going back to school. And our main goal or our main objective is to help the employee maintain continuous pay and benefits while on leave to complete student teaching. So in Oregon, when you participate in a teacher prep program, you must complete 16 continuous weeks of student teaching. That is a full-time commitment. So individuals are not able to continue to work in their current position while they are student teaching. So what we are committing to is that we will help the candidates in the Diverse Teachers Pathway program maintain that pay and benefits while they step away to complete their student teaching. Now, I talk about tuition if available. As I said, the main goal is to remove the major barrier. And what we know is the major barrier is that issue of having to step away from their position for 16 weeks. But that will come down the road as we're in a new program, right? So most people are just still in school taking courses. So right now, the majority of our financial support is going towards tuition support, but that will change over time. So our goal, though, is to fund as many people as we can. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to use a combination of funding sources. Our main funding source is the student investment account money, where we have earmarked that to help racially diverse students, employees, and community partners become teachers. We are also part of a grant through the Multnomah County Education Service District. So the diversity initiatives or our equity initiatives, or what you'll also hear called grow your own initiatives. We have a regional program that we're all doing together in East County through MESD. And then each of us as a school district has our own program. So there's kind of two different ways or two different funding paths for our employees and our community partners and our students. If you are already a certified staff member, which some people have been hired before receiving their teaching license, but they are part of the certified staff, tuition reimbursement is available for you. There is also the option for folks who go to Portland State University. We have vouchers. So for every teacher who has a student teacher, right, who takes on one of those student teachers for 16 weeks, receives a small honorarium for doing that work, and they receive vouchers, tuition credit vouchers for PSU. What's great about PSU is that they allow those vouchers to be transferred to someone else. So many of our teachers who host student teachers at this time have completed all the credits they need to complete. They are not interested in taking additional courses, and they are willing to pass those vouchers on to others. And that is another way that I can help you fund your education. And then the last category would be looking for financial aid for yourself, Oregon scholarship. So when you apply to a program, they're going to ask that you fill out a FAFSA. FAFSA, that is the federal student financial aid. And then there is OSAC, which is the Oregon, and they'll ask you to do both. And it's a good thing because you might find too that you are eligible for additional scholarships by doing that. The second way we're going to hopefully fund as many people as we can is we will forward fund tuition. So what that means is you are going to get the money for your courses, should you be admitted into the program. You are going to get your money for your courses for the entire year. And what I will ask you to do is to be very disciplined. Maybe open a savings account if you don't have one, and you would put the money for your tuition and books in that account and not spend that money on anything else. I could come around and ask you to push some of that money to the next year, especially if you did not take as many courses as we had anticipated, which happens. And so it is important that you are very disciplined with that money and you do not spend that, because I will be counting on you not to do that as I try to stretch the dollars more and more amongst more and more participants. So that's a second way that we're going to make it happen. The third way is to have participants complete as many credits as they can at PCC. Now, this would be for those of you who will be obtaining a bachelor's degree. For those of you that already have a bachelor's degree, you will be going a master's of teaching route. And so this does not apply to you. But for those of you that have the bachelor's route to go, we're going to have you take as many credits as you can at PCC. And there's a reason for that. Main reason is it's one of the lowest tuition credit costs that is out there. It costs a lot less than the university level. So a bachelor's degree in Oregon is 180 quarter credits. Typically, what you are completing is a number of general education credits, along with then credits that are tied to your major. In this case, for those of you considering this program, your major is going to be an education degree that is licensure track. But you can transfer as many credits in to that university until you start the degree portion of the program. So we want to get as many credits out of the way at the lower cost per credit. The second reason that we want you looking at PCC and doing that there is they actually have an associate's in education. They have lots of courses that are prereqs for other university teacher prep programs. So while you're earning credits to build up your general elective credits, you can also be taking education courses, which should apply to your current job. So that will make it interesting, but also will help you knock out some prereqs for any teacher prep program that you are going to look at. The fourth way that we will try to fund as many people as we can, and you kind of heard me allude to this in number one, is that we might place an employee in the teaching position before they have completed the full program. There is, with TSPC, an option to get people a restricted teaching license, which allows somebody who is in progress with a teacher prep program to go ahead and be licensed and in the classroom teaching kids. When it comes time for your student teaching, you would just do that in your current position. You would not need to leave that. And so you would just do it there. And then you are funded and getting paid and getting your benefits while you are completing your student teaching. This is also going to be an important strategy so that we can ensure that we have positions for people that we have admitted into the Diverse Teachers Pathway program. Number five, there could be other scholarships and grants, which one of the things that if you commit to this program, you are committing to trying for other scholarships and grants, again, so that we can stretch the money as far as we can. And I'll talk a little bit about a particular scholarship for folks that will be going master's track in just a moment. And then the last way that we will try to fund as many is at a certain point, I may ask that you become dual endorsed. What that means is you are completing a teacher prep program and you are having multiple endorsements with that. So maybe if you're thinking elementary, we have you with multiple subjects, elementary endorsement, and we also have you with an English language learning endorsement. If you are in the secondary area and you're doing a teacher prep program, say in English language arts, then we may also ask that you add on an endorsement of social studies. What that does is provides more opportunities for positions for each individual. So the more endorsed they are, the easier it will be to place them in a position. Okay, so I had talked a little bit about scholarships and grants, and one in particular there that I wanted to highlight because this is a no-brainer, folks. If you were considering at all entering a teacher prep program in the fall in a graduate program, I highly encourage you to apply for this grant. Okay, this is a grant, a scholarship. It does not need to be paid back. The person can get up to $10,000 per year in tuition support, and that can be renewable for another year. So this gives you the potential to get up to $20,000 in money to pay for your master's degree. They have 165 awards to make this year and 165 next year. And people are there. We are just begging people to apply. So again, if you're sitting here watching this, you already have your bachelor's, and that you will be going a master's track to get your teaching license, you must apply for this, right? Early bird applications close on February 15th. That is just right around the corner. Not a big deal, just makes you eligible for some additional scholarships. The real deadline, March 1st. So when attached to the email that will have this video, there should be information on Oregon Teacher Scholars Program and how to apply. So again, this is a no-brainer, folks. Please go ahead and do it. If you're not sure about the fall, still go ahead and apply. If you decide not to enter in the fall, it's not a big deal at all, and you just turn down that award for this year. Okay. So I've talked about the program, who's eligible: students, employees, Elevate employees who work in Parkrose. Talked about kind of what we're doing to support you, right? Trying to fund as many people as possible. So if you are accepted into this program and you choose to participate, you are making some commitments. So what are those commitments? Okay. First, you can choose to attend the accredited school of your choice, and you and I will talk about that as we progress through the process. The one thing I will note is if you are interested in the Oregon Teacher Scholars Program, it does have to be an Oregon school that you are going to. So a school out of state, say in an online program, would not be funded. So again, for Oregon Teacher Scholars Program, you want to look at an Oregon university. Okay. You must be willing to take advantage of all potential funding sources and apply for financial scholarships and grants. So again, whether that's Oregon Teacher Scholars, whether I come around on another one, say through COSA or through another organization, all participants need to be willing to apply for those and see how it goes. If you don't get it, no worries, but we want to be trying again so we can fund as many people as we can. You will be responsible for closing the gap between tuition funding from the district and the cost of the classes. I don't anticipate this for maybe several years out, again, just because we're new and we're starting and everybody's in school. So it's mostly tuition. We're mostly funding tuition right now. When that time comes where we kind of flip and we have people from our first cohort, which launched last year, those of you watching today, should you decide to apply and you are admitted, you will be part of cohort 2. So as the cohorts progress through school and start moving out to doing their student teaching, where we need additional funding for covering salary and benefits, then we might start to see that that we're not able to fund as much for you at that tuition level. As part of the Diverse Teachers Pathway program, you must participate in the mentoring program, and you must participate in Teach for Liberation, which I will talk about in just a while. That is a program at the regional level that we are all working on. Right, the real main commitment here. Here's what it all comes down to. So if you choose to apply and you are admitted, and we fund your education and help you get a teacher's license, then you will need to commit to a minimum of 3 years of employment in a licensed position with Parkrose. Participants who do not accept a Parkrose School District job offer or who serve less than 3 years must reimburse Parkrose for funds paid on their behalf, prorated based on the number of years served. We, as I mentioned, are doing a regional effort here. So our goal is to increase teachers and staff of color in all the districts in Multnomah County, or what we would call East County. So we have a reciprocity kind of agreement. So if one of our participants accepts a licensed position in another Multnomah County school district, Parkrose will waive the repayment requirement. Upon completion of your teacher prep program, if within 6 months you have not been offered a position in Parkrose, then you are no longer obligated to reimburse the district for any financial support provided, and the participant has no obligation to remain employed by Parkrose. So the point there is, if we're not able to offer you a position, and maybe that's because there is not one available when you happen to complete, and we aren't able to do that within 6 months, then you are no longer obligated to reimburse us for any of that financial support, and no longer obligated to remain employed by the district. Okay. All right, mentoring, just want to hit on that just a bit. So mentoring, each Diverse Teachers Pathway program candidate will be assigned a mentor who will be a support while you're juggling school and work. The mentor will check progress each term, and the mentor and the mentee will meet periodically to just dialogue about how things are going, what you're learning, how you're applying it. And those mentor-mentee meetings might be one mentor with several mentees. So just another person that our candidates can go to, ask questions, get support, and kind of dialogue about what they're learning and how that might be applying in their current job, but also how that might apply as a teacher in Parkrose. Another commitment that you will make is for Teach for Liberation. So Teaching for Liberation is a program that is done at the regional level out of MESD, Multnomah Education Service District. Teach for Liberation is a program, or it's also known T4L, is a program that was created for Seattle Public Schools when they launched their Grow Your Own programs. This was a program created by diversity and equity experts. And it's really designed to be a space where teachers and educators of color can come together, do some learning, get support. So it's one of our kind of retention strategies for retaining our teachers of color. So what is T4L? Well, it's rooted in our communities. It ends up being a collective space with the idea that we're all in this together, doing this together. It will be an anti-racist space where we name and challenge white supremacy, anti-Blackness, and all forms of oppression. It'll be a place for you to be real, and it'll be a place for learning, love, and liberation. It's a very detailed, specific curriculum that you will learn more about, and it will be facilitated by equity champions from the East County districts. So one of our elementary principals, Principal Watson, is the one from Parkrose, and she will be one of the facilitators in the program. So what will happen is there will be a monthly affinity group and leadership development sessions with other rising BIPOC educators. So again, a place for advising, support, and mentorship. And you will be excused from your regular job duties one afternoon per month to participate in these sessions. Now, this last year, these sessions were virtual via Zoom, given the pandemic. Not sure how that will be playing out in 22-23. But as part of this program, you will automatically, I'm so sorry. You will automatically be enrolled in Teach for Liberation, and you will attend a meeting once a month from 12 to 3. You will be released from your position to do that. They also, as a requirement, you must participate in any advising and mentorship activities that are part of the program. All right, so what's our process here for the Diverse Teachers Pathway program? So we're going to have at least one cohort per year. So like I said, cohort 1 launched last year. You will be a part of cohort 2 launching this year. Anybody that's interested in applying to the Diverse Teachers Pathway program will need to complete an application, and you will participate in an interview process. So let's talk about the application form. So the components of the application is a resume showing your job, your work history, and your schooling, a letter of recommendation, and this should be from someone who can speak to your experience working with kids. So that could be your current supervisor, that could be somebody from a different job before Parkrose, that could be somebody, maybe you were an assistant coach, maybe you were a mentor for an organization, but again, just somebody who knows you and can speak to your experience working with kids. There will be a number of short answer questions that speak to your work life experiences and why you want to be a teacher. You will have an interview with some advisory members, and then it does also require supervisor approval. So the advisory team, we have an advisory council, and this is who determines who is admitted into the Diverse Teachers Pathway program. It's a council with cross representation. Myself is on the council, as well as the Director of Student Services and the Assistant Director of Teaching and Learning. There's also a board member. There are 3 certified members from the teacher ranks. There is a classified member, and there is 2 administrators, one from elementary, one from secondary, and then there is a community partner out of MESD who is working on Grow Your Own initiatives at the regional level, and he sits on our council as well. If you are not accepted into cohort 2, and in a few slides, I'll give a timeline. This doesn't mean that you can't ever participate. And if you aren't accepted, I'll be reaching out and we'll talk about, any recommendations that I have for you. Right. The reality is, again, how many we can admit into the program will depend on how much funding we have available, considering the previous cohort, the teaching area of interest of our candidates, the timeline for completion, the ease at which we could place you in a position. So there's a variety of factors that will play a role. So I wanted to just give you an idea. I know when you see, oh my gosh, short answer questions on an application, what are we talking about? So these are not essays, right? In fact, I've kind of given you an approximate word count on a few of those, if that's helpful for you. But what that means is you should be able to answer this question in approximately this amount of words. But we aren't word smithing or word counting. So if you were able to answer the question and you do it in 75 words, great. If you've answered the question and you feel good about it and you think it's thorough and you did that in 200 words, that's fine too. Again, these are just kind of parameters to give you an idea of roughly how much you should be writing. So the first question is simply going to ask you about your years of experience working with kids, whether that was direct or indirect, and we're going to have you describe that experience. Then you're going to tell us about your professional training, what you've received as it pertains to serving students. The third question, we're going to have you describe the life experience, background, and skill that you possess that will enable you to effectively serve our diverse students in our district. And lastly, we'd like to hear about why you are interested in becoming a licensed educator. So what's our timeline? So applications for the Diverse Teachers Pathway Program will be due March 31st. We will make decisions roughly around May 20th. Between May 21st and June 15th, you will apply to PCC or a program that you're interested in, and tuition payments will be made to you by June 30th for the 22-23 school year. So again, that's what I mean by we're going to forward fund you. I'm going to give you tuition for summer, fall, winter, and spring term. So for 4 terms, you will put that in a savings account and save that to pay your bill each term at your education provider. So who are the education providers? So there are, again, you can choose any accredited program. One thing I do want to make sure we're noting is that whatever program you're in, you want to make sure it's licensure track. So there are certainly masters of education, bachelors of education that actually are not licensure track. So what that means is you won't be doing student teaching and you won't be qualifying for an Oregon teaching license. So you do want to make sure that when you're talking with the different schools that you are clear that you're looking to become a teacher, and so you want a licensure track program. As I mentioned, PCC will be where many of those in the bachelor's track will start. We have at our regional level, we've received a grant and we have a position that works at PCC. It's called the Grow Your Own Navigator. And their name is Amo Reyes. They will meet with you, look at where you're at, what credits you've taken, kind of set an education plan for you at PCC for the next year. They will help you register if necessary. They will check in with you, and they will each term make sure you're getting signed up for your next set of classes. So AMO is a fantastic support to our diverse teacher pathway program candidates, and I've received great feedback from him. So one of the things, if you're selected into the program and PCC is the route you're going, that time around May 20th, I will do an official handoff via email to AMO between you and I, and that will start the ball rolling for Portland Community College. So other universities are listed here, right? Keeping in mind that, again, on the bachelor's for folks, we're talking about 180 credits. So just to give you an idea, Warner Pacific, its teacher prep program, licensure track bachelor's, is 45 credits. So what that means is you need an additional 135 credits to get a degree. So when I talked about taking as much as we can at PCC at that lower price, that's what I'm talking about. We want to knock out as many of those credits that we can there before you transfer over to a university. Now, keep in mind that all universities have residency requirements. So they're going to require so many credits to give you a degree. And they are going to require that they have certain courses, perhaps, as part of the overall degree that can only be taken at their university. It is not something you could take at PCC and transfer in. So bottom line, when you're starting to get close to maybe an AA at PCC, which would be about 90 credits, that's when we want to start really looking at the university programs and seeing what else to continue taking, or whether it's time and you're ready to move over. Okay. Again, AMO knows university requirements. So again, a great support. In Oregon, if you were to get an AAOT, so that's an associate's degree of elementary education from PCC, that will be a 90 credit degree that will 100% transfer over to any Oregon university. You will have met some prereqs as well for their education program. And then if there are additional credits to take that don't have to be done at the university, you can continue to take those at PCC and transfer them in. Okay, PSU. So Warner, I talked about the 45 credit program, and PSU is 64 credits. So therefore you need an additional 116. So just to kind of give you an idea, probably the top three most popular are PCC, Warner Pacific, and Portland State. Pacific University certainly has some options, as does Eastern Oregon. So again, any of those schools are an option. We just want to make sure that you're in a licensure track program. I will say that I do encourage folks to take a look at Warner. And the reason for that is out of these folks, Warner has what's called an accelerated degree program. So what that means is you're taking only one class at a time. They're condensed, 5 or 6 weeks long. But it's only one class at a time. So you're not juggling multiple classes, multiple syllabi, multiple professors' assignments and expectations. And so for certain learning styles, that is a very effective system. Every 6 weeks, I finish a class, I hit a milestone, and I'm moving on to my next class. So if that sounds like something that might work for you, then Warner Pacific is definitely a school to look at. Again, all of these universities are high quality universities. They've got good programs. It's just about finding the one that works best for you and with what you want to do. Okay, so let's see here in terms of next steps. Watch for a follow-up email from me, which actually you would have already gotten with this video and materials attached. If you are a bachelor's track candidate, I would encourage you to go ahead and collect any unofficial transcripts from any of the schools you've already attended. You might already have those on file. It might be as simple as logging into the portal of the school and you can just download it right there. But it is going to be important to know how many credits you've completed and what you have taken so far. I would like you to complete the survey that I send by email as well. That should be as part of this email there. And if you take a chance, it's just a few questions and answer that for me. If you are a master's candidate in the fall, please, please, please apply for Oregon Teacher Scholars Program first, and then circle back around to apply to our program here in Parkrose. That's because the deadline for the Oregon Teacher Scholars Program is March 1, and my deadline's March 31st. Once I have received your survey information, you will meet with me one-on-one sometime kind of in mid-March. It'll just be a quick video call or phone call. And then you will want to complete that Diverse Teachers Pathway Program application by March 31st. Okay, I thank you again for watching and listening to our presentation today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And I'm available via phone or email, and happy to meet and chat at any point if that would be better, easier, more effective. So thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you apply to the Diverse Teachers Pathway Program.